We are red is fine, as we all know.
Okay, we will open this meeting of March 24th. Let the record show all but John Scanlon is present, and he is on his way. Gail, this has to be on next week's agenda? Okay. I'll keep it here, but donations have to be on the agenda first.
I make a motion to bring the minutes of Thursday, March 17th to the floor.
Second. All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Page 3, sidewalks.
Yep.
Shouldn't we say Tilton School instead of just school?
Was he referring to the high school or up on School Street?
Up on School Street.
Did anybody
Where are
tell
we?
him those sidewalks aren't the town's? I thought when he said that last week, he was talking about the high school.
Page 3, where are
There
we?
is no sidewalks in front of the high school.
Well, that's what I was sitting here thinking, but
They end right at the entrance.
that's what I
He
thought.
did say in front of the school, though. I remember, because I remember thinking, I don't think there is any sidewalk in front of the school. I think it ends right at the driveway.
Referring, taking this street and heading up the hill.
In front of the Tilton Prep School.
Where are you?
Page 3.
Right here, the bullet sidewalks. Johnny reported he'd measured the sidewalks from the Tilton School. We need to let him know that those sidewalks were installed by the Tilton Prep School.
Okay.
No, he wasn't talking about that. He was talking about Winnisquam, in front of the Winnisquam School. There's a,
But there is, he
where the
did,
inn goes,
Middle school then?
no, the high school. The inn, where it goes, the parking lot goes in and it comes back out, that section in between he was talking about.
There isn't one.
well,
Yeah, there
I
is.
guess technically there would be about 10 feet of sidewalk on the school district in front of the, it doesn't go in front of the school, but it goes in front of the little strip right there.
Okay.
It goes in front of the loop. That's what he was talking about. So we should say, yeah, we
The high
really do
school.
should say which school, because we do have a sidewalk issue, but it's the Tilton School, and that's what the DOT.
Yeah.
So
It's a
we,
different
not to
thing from what-
confuse it, because we have past minutes that reference the Tilton School sidewalk. Yeah, put the Winnisquam High School.
So
Right.
there's a little section of sidewalk after the entrance?
No. But
Between that, the
The
little,
loop, between the loop.
which no one uses, because normally once they get to the
Doesn't-
entrance, they take the walkway by the
Yeah, you
parking
walk up
to
into
the
the
woods.
parking lot.
Or in the parking lot
I never
itself.
even noticed a section of
there's a
sidewalk
little
there.
strip of sidewalk, once you get past the apartment building, and you're no longer in front of the apartment building, then it becomes technically in front of the high school. As far away as it is, it still
Okay.
would be in front of the high school instead of in front of the apartment building.
It's not in front of the high school. It's
No,
on, it's
no,
on
there is
on
none.
the edge of the high school property, so
That's
there
right.
is no sidewalk in front of the high school.
No, there's not.
Okay, good.
I didn't call him
thought
on
it
it
was insane.
because I wanted to go and look. I didn't think.
So he's talking about the little section of
right.
sidewalk between Deer Street
That's right.
and the entrance.
And the entrance.
Near the entrance of the
Right,
That's right.
near the entrance of the high school, right.
You know, I didn't give it another thought because we told him to come up with a plan.
Yes.
Wow.
When we go down to the boards and committees and appointments, it says that under conservation, John Scanlon and James Cropsey will be reappointed. We really should be saying that our intent is, as Board of Selectmen, is that we notify them that their time is up, and if they wish to be reappointed, they need to fill out the board needs to fill out the appropriate papers.
How about are eligible for reappointment?
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, we can't say will be reappointed. If they decide, this is it, I've, dedicated to, enough of volunteer years in my life and I don't want to continue, then this would be really incorrect.
So everywhere it says about will be reappointed should be changed.
Right,
Yes.
right. And under Caring Hands Assistant Tilton, it's Brenda. There's a D, okay. And you said that right, are up for reappointment.
Yeah.
That's perfect, what you said under that, are up for reappointment.
Have we notified Lakes Region Planning of Johnny Van Tassel as the
There's a letter to be signed.
tech?
In the to be signed, for us
Okay.
to sign it.
Oh, good.
I just saw it somewhere.
I got it.
I think Joyce may be asking too about the status of Joe's replacement on the Mid-State RCC.
Boy, am I being...
Didn't you
Oh, yeah, technically I did.
sign? Yeah.
Because I'm a member for the Lakes Region Planning Commission. So if the town of Tilton wants to have, apparently, according to the RCC, the town of Tilton is eligible to have their own member. So it could be somebody else.
But you attend as the Lakes Region Planning
Yeah.
Commission?
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't represent both.
okay.
And I've been doing it for the Planning Commission now for like 5 years, so
And Joe, you're aware of the meeting on Tuesday?
I am. I plan to attend.
Are there any other additions, corrections, subtractions,
I'll make a
concerns?
motion to accept the minutes of Thursday, March 17th as corrected.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Right?
Okay, we have, while we're waiting for Johnny, because we're not going to have a PD report, we can either look at Tim's report on Casella and talk about that, or we can go over Selectmen's concerns while we're here.
Well, I do have a thing that I'm bringing tonight. Drafts of countertop information for retailers,
Okay,
for the bag sales, as well as a mock-up of a postcard. We sent those out before. Just something to go through and look.
let's go over this.
The one on top, I propose to put out to the various retailers as soon as possible. Some people are already putting their garbage out in black bags or whatever because, hey, town meeting voted to do away with the bags, and getting this information to people post-haste, I think, is important. The second one, and it says May 1st, but that's totally arbitrary. We discussed May 15th, we discussed May 1st, putting these on the counters at Smoke and Barley, the store, and Bryant Lawrence Hardware, like the third week in April, or maybe even the 15th of April, to let them know that we're easing out the little guys first. I've already spoken with Hannaford's and Walgreens, who have both graciously agreed to stay with the program right through the very final day of it. They're going to try and whittle down their inventories. They don't want to be caught with mass inventories any more than, the town does.
So they're not going to be ordering any more bags, right?
Only according to the amount of bags they've been going through.
Right?
The little guys, like Billy Lawrence and
They still have,
Smoke and Barley, are basically ordering when they've got 3 sleeves left. So they don't have a big inventory. Hannaford's and Walgreens are our largest retailers, and they order them 2 or 3 cases at a time, and they only order every 6 weeks. So Walgreens had just put in an order, and I told them that you can, well, by the time I got there, the order was in and supposed to be in the next day. So I told them that you don't have to order 3 at a time, you can order 1,
How about if they stop ordering?
Well, if we run out of places, or you want to just have it that...
I thought we were going to take an inventory of what bags these
We did.
merchants had.
We did.
Okay, so we should know roughly, because we know what they've been selling,
Yes.
when they're going to run out.
Yes.
And then I thought that the town hall would order what bags we need or move up the date.
The Walgreens is looking at mid-May right now for the bags that they've ordered. The Hannaford's is placing an order. Well, you want to sell every garbage bag in town at the town clerk's desk? I mean, that sounds like...
No,
that's
we could
not-
move the date up.
Date of what?
we still have
To
till
stop.
June 2nd. We still have to June 2nd, though,
No, I'm
to do
saying
it.
if okay, so the Hannaford's, let's say they're out of bags, okay? You can't buy bags at Hannaford's anymore. Walgreens will have bags until mid-May. If we know Walgreens is going to run out of bags in the middle of May, we can take our June date up and move it into May.
I suppose we could, but we pick a date, and I personally feel we pick a date, we stick with the date.
I thought the purpose was to save the taxpayers dollars and not have to buy back any bags.
To buy back as few bags as we possibly could.
So, can we shuffle from one entity to another?
Yes. We can.
Hannaford,
If
with
Hannaford's
Hannaford's
got all the
order-
bags,
right, can we
bring them
shuffle
to
some-
Walgreens.
right, can we
Or
can
we
do
bring them
that?
to Town Hall.
So we still are able to do that, then, if we're able to do that, then it seems like it would be reasonable, because Walgreens and Hannaford sell the most.
That's right. And the little guys, the May 1st people on this
Right.
notice,
So if we discontinue those
yeah,
and take what we have of those, bring those to Town Hall,
yeah.
then we can come,
Do we know how many cases of bags the manufacturer has?
60. It's in Tim's report.
yeah, it's in Tim's report.
I haven't had a chance to read it yet.
Okay.
We have, all that information is in the
So
report.
it's redundant. If they have 60 cases, it's redundant.
Walgreens says no large bags.
Well, they were supposed to be coming in yesterday,
Okay.
according to the woman, because they'd already ordered them.
Yeah, I went out last week.
Yeah, so it's all redundant. If the manufacturer has 60 cases, it doesn't matter.
Well, there's a number of cases that have been made. They've stopped making bags at Waste Zero. Tim has calculated the amount of cases that we would ordinarily be selling or going through in the time frame that's coming up. I think we'll go through a little bit less, because unless I miss my bet, people will save garbage at the end of May and put it all out on June 7th. You know?
So Tim
I expect-
says that Waste Zero has ceased production of the Tilton bags. They currently have 69 cases of small and 80 cases of large bags. On average, stores order 11 cases per week. Given there are 9 remaining weeks use prior to June 7th, of the 149 cases remaining, theoretically, a maximum of 99 cases will be sold and distributed, leaving 50 cases of Waste Zero inventory the town is obligated to purchase at our cost. As the program is winding down, I estimate people will not purchase as many bags, and more likely, Waste Zero inventory figure for repurchase may be in the 55 to 60, or roughly $4,000, depending on the breakdown of large and small cases remaining at that point. So it's 80 and,
So it's 50 bags at the end instead of 60.
Isn't it cheaper to buy the bags from Waste Zero than from the providers?
Absolutely.
Okay. Oh, Joe, I don't envy you. It's a lot of work.
I think this is a good thing.
I think you've done
So the first
a great
one,
job.
so the top one is what will go to the
All
residents.
No, top one goes to all the retailers. You can send it to residents as well. I propose to put these on the counters
Okay,
there's a copy
Billy's
of the postcard in the
okay.
back. And like, put one in the kiosk, put one up at the Lockmere Post Office.
Yeah, and
And
Anywhere
then
there's
this
a
one goes
corkboard.
to the residents.
This one goes to the 3 retailers who are the little guys. See how it
Okay.
says, will no longer be available at this location.
Okay. And then this goes,
And then we have
Postcard.
postcard.
okay, got it.
And what this is this is the same program we used for the postcard the last time, but we changed the wording of it. Instead of pay-as-you-throw trash bag collection begins on September 13th or whatever, it ends on June 2nd. And on the top, across the top, instead of we're starting pay-as-you-throw and so forth, it's like no more purple bags after June 2nd, which is Thursday, this end of town. And there are no changes to the recycling collection. I thought that it was important to keep emphasizing that. And then on the second one, the back side, the second one's the back, you can read what has been put in there. I figured this was a start off for the discussion of how you want the wording.
Under plastics, $1 every pound.
Number 1, oh. Yes, okay, there's one. See, it's a good thing with a bucket container. It's a good thing that we go through these, see?
Nice work.
And we also add 2016.
I'm thinking it's self-explanatory, but you think we should?
Just like maybe in case of future reference, we can look back and say, what year did we do that?
Oh,
Yeah, because we never know.
That's true.
I agree.
We just changed the size of the font.
Correct.
By one.
And I'll add it in at the pay-as-you-throw ends June 2nd, 2016.
Just take out the MD and just put comma 2016.
Say what now?
Instead of second, just put June 2, comma
Yeah,
2016.
yeah,
Instead of June 2nd.
yep.
Everybody okay with those
yeah,
Yeah.
corrections?
Yeah, that's,
yes, nice job.
Yep, very nice job.
Well, I would like to thank Joyce and Tim for helping with this.
Go forth and,
Okay. Now, to reiterate, I'm going to bring the top one, as of Tuesday, June 7th, to all the retailers. Several copies, so that they can put them up in their little cork boards.
to do it in color.
Yeah, so that the Tilton.org comes through in blue or whatever color. Other than that, it's just black.
But you want to put it on a color paper, like we did for
think?
even that blue that we used for the town report. People look at black and white, they just, if it's put on the door, they just look at black and white, oh, yeah, well, okay.
Okay.
If it's a color, they'll, oh, okay, there must be some downstairs that's color for those, for the stores.
We have a lot of that left over that we had
The blue?
words on. The vote cards.
Oh, yeah, that's, okay, that bright orange that we had the voter card, a
All right.
raspberry, whatever, pink,
Why are people-
version of a pink.
got
Okay.
a version of a purple for the purple bags?
We tried to get purple, believe it or not, but
Probably wouldn't stand out.
I'm going to post them in every place that I can think of that there's a cork board or a central. I'll put one at the senior center. I'll put it at the post office in all three locations here in Tilton. I'll put it in the kiosk. I'll put it at Market Basket. I'll put it everywhere I can think of to get the word out. Can we do a version of this on the town website? Okay, to get the word to the most people.
Absolutely.
And Donna Rhodes is waiting for a call. She is willing to do a series of stories so that we don't like write a story now, but then nobody, there's nothing at the end of May. So if we write one now with this information in it, then in April sometime, the third week in April, we do something else. It's coming. And then the week before, or even 2 weeks before, I don't know, the last time, she'll put out a story. We can put it in the Citizen or that other paper of record that, everybody uses so that we get the information to as many people as we possibly can.
Hey, speaking of the other paper,
Yes?
yesterday's front page paper by our most favorite reporter
I have so many.
said that Guilford was the first in the Lakes region to put out their offices with body cameras.
Well, obviously,
Lie number one, incorrect.
well...
Tilton, New Hampshire was the first in the Lakes region to do that because they purchased them in May of 2015 and was wearing them in August of 2015. For the record. Thank you.
I also, it's something I'd like to check on. I heard a story on NPR today about the police department in Nashua were considering using body cameras on their police officers. But they were very hesitant because they said it was going to cost $18,000 per day to do this. Now, that's not my understanding on any level. I mean, there is a cost, the cameras, the software, the storage, but no, I don't know how many police officers they must have in,
They have 3 times the amount of police officers that we have.
so does that mean we're spending $6,000 a day?
No, but-
Not even close.
Here it says,
With-
the first major department in the Lakes region to use body cameras. Maybe
Still
they're not.
wrong.
Tilton is a major police
I guess we're a
department.
minor.
We must be in
We
the
do as
minors.
many calls as anybody in the counties, either one of the counties, so.
Equal to Guilford
$25,000.
over 5 years. That's what I was at.
Well, it just seemed odd to me that it would cost $18,000 a day. Plus, you have to hire another person to manage
I would agree with $18,000 a year. Not
a year, but they stated, because I'm like, what was that? There's no way.
Not right there.
But they said it before, they've said it several times.
All right. Moving on, okay,
I'm gonna
Joe's
get
got
to
that.
this post haste.
All right. We've done that. 5:15. Let me text him. Oh. Nope.
So, a point of information, Joyce, the postcard flew through. Yeah. We're sitting down there and going, well, it took hours to put this together the last time. It's a good idea we use the same card. We just changed some of the information.
Joyce, before you sit down, are you ready to talk to us or no? Sure. Okay. Is that the stack you're talking to us about?
Catherine asked something, I can say, just a minute, Catherine, let me put my hand on it.
Am I that frightening?
No, it's just like, I try and come prepared. Well, funny, isn't that, this was the first thing that was on the list, so, this was the, okay, so that's cool. So when do you want them printed? When do you want to start them?
Soon.
All right,
Whenever Joe feels he's ready.
Joe, let
Joe's,
me know when you're ready, because I've
there's a
got to...
correction on one of them.
There's a minor correction that we can put in, and I'll get with you tomorrow.
Yep.
It'll only take 5 minutes, and we can start the process. When we actually send them out, I hesitate to send them too soon.
Well, I got a call today, I mean, we're getting calls from people.
I know, and I'm going to start putting out on the website and all over the place those, as of June 7th, papers.
Yep.
It'll be at all of the retailers, it'll be in the kiosk, it'll be
Okay. So
at
you
all
haven't
the
even
post
distributed those
offices and that kind of stuff. If we put it out too soon, I'm afraid that, unless we do 2, and that's going to double the money.
One, yeah. because
So I'm
there's-
thinking that beginning of May, middle of April, at the soonest, because that's still 6 weeks away from,
Joe, the large bags, how many in a pack? Isn't it 7? 7, and I know I,
5 bags in a pack,
okay, I use like 1 large bag a week.
large.
So it'd be
10 in
nice
a
to know 7 weeks before, or less than
You'll
1.
be able to, I talked with Cindy,
1,
Yeah, you're gonna be able to get them at Town Hall soon.
and
well,
I
it,
talked to Cindy, who has agreed to sell them one by one.
Yeah.
I mean, that could, it's nice to know that many weeks before the number of bags you're gonna purchase, which is 7, I would
So,
think.
6, well, I'm putting out the, as of June 7th, one tomorrow. So people will, if you go in to buy bags or whatever, it's going to be right there. It'll be on their doors, it'll be on their counter. I'm gonna print like 50 of them, and I'm gonna flood every place with them.
And the date is, the date on this is not going to change, because...
No.
Because it's going to take a while, because we have these printed at Staples.
Yes.
And then it's a while to go through the post office. We use it a
Yep.
pre-sorted
Yep.
carrier route thing.
So let's make a choice right here and now. Do you think it should go out mid-May, 1st of May, mid-April?
I'd say the end of April, mid to end of April. That's
So
my,
5 weeks out.
that's what I would say. What about you?
And we can also use, like that last week in May, we can do the Alert Tilton thing.
I got a
We
feeling
got
it should go
discussed
out.
Did we discuss
First part
that?
of April.
We didn't discuss that yet, did we?
What?
No, we haven't. No, we haven't. No, we haven't.
All
Not
we've
at
done
all.
is the agenda.
That's a totally different thing.
I mean, most people are going to buy roll bags.
Yes.
Means they'll have at least 5 bags.
And they still have the opportunity, too, to check with neighbors.
Some
How many
people
you
put,
got? You got
that's
one?
right.
The word's gonna get out.
Some people put 2 or 3 bags out, though.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Not any later than mid-April. I mean, mid-May.
no, not
That'd be
even that
first
late.
week of
Let's
May
Let's
is
go
latest.
May 1st.
Yeah.
Can we shoot for May
May 1st,
1st?
Yeah, we can have it
Gail
all
has got
set
her
to
hand
go.
up.
Yep.
May 1st. Go ahead, Gail.
The sheet that says the May 1st will no longer be available at this location. Can you underline that and bold it so they'll know? Because if you read,
It's only going in 3 places.
but if they see, well, as of May 1st, purple trash bags will no longer be.
Available.
Sold at Billy Lawrence's. It won't be sold at the store, and it won't be sold at,
So if you underline this location, that you're making an impact that says this location, and then visibly, most people are visual, and you look at it and say, oh, at this location, okay, doesn't mean
and
the
it
other.
also says bags are still available at Walgreens, Hannaford's, and Town Hall.
Some people, once they
I know.
they stop at location, they're done.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think that's a good idea. Okay,
May
go ahead.
1st is good, all right.
There you go.
Just briefly, I wanted to let the board know that yesterday, and Pat, jump in anytime, I thought it was very, I was proud of Tilton. The Judge Gordon, who's Franklin District Court judge, had been contacted by the administrative offices of the courts because the ACLU has been putting pressure on the state district court system to provide for more community service. So they selected 3 district courts, Laconia, Franklin, and Colebrook, and they assigned 2 students from the law school,
UNH Law, right?
to prepare a report. So we had a, youth assistance was there, City of Franklin was there, the 2 law students, David Court, who happened to be Gail's former employer. He's with the
Spoke
Merrimack.
very highly. He was very disappointed that we have you now.
Yeah, but he didn't make me feel too bad.
The diversion court in Merrimack County.
County Court Diversion,
Chris Paquette was there.
Chris Paquette, our
Public defender.
chiefs, both chiefs, the Merrimack County.
Franklin chief and Tilton
Yep.
chief. And then we had the welfare director at, who does a lot of the
Workfare.
workfare information that was there. Yeah. The 2 students.
So we provided lots of good information for them, but, you know, the county program is a little bit different from our program, but we all agreed it would be nice if other municipalities were able to provide more opportunities for people to work in the community, because to solve problems, you got to solve them with the community's help. So I'm very excited about the report, but primarily, all of our grievances were the same, is that you have to supervise them, and sometimes it's very difficult to have jobs that you can have supervised, and also it's still unclear as to liability. A lot of nonprofits don't want to participate because of liability, but I was proud that we were able to help them in their effort, and I plan on sending some more information to them on the information I literature and what municipalities need to do to make sure that it is very clear what, that they're not covered under our insurance, and the state can say all they want. The state covers if they're juveniles, if they're under age 18, but not adults, and just how you have to be careful how you run your program to limit.
It was nice to see that Tilton had a program.
Yeah.
Where others do not have a program. And nor indicated nor that they really wanted a program because of the staffing and supervision.
Right. So anything we can do to help other municipalities to do something similar, I think everybody benefits.
Right.
So that was good. I was proud of you guys. You told me about that already. RCC, I know that Joe isn't the representative anymore, and you can't be a selectman and be part of the Lakes Region Planning Commission?
Of course you can.
You can.
I represent Lakes Region Planning Commission.
Okay.
I can't represent the town of Tilton and the Lakes Region Planning Commission, and I've
Okay.
been doing the planning commission
Okay.
5 years, so.
So they would like to know if there is anybody else that would like to represent the town of Tilton.
Don't all jump in at once now.
Yes, a lot of those things are during the day.
When
They're
do
all
they,
done at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Most of them are in Concord.
when do they meet?
So I'm looking to
They
see.
meet once a
said
month.
Quite a bit of information.
And it's always at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's at right over there by the prison. God, what is that place? It's a senior center.
5 Walker Street in Concord. That'll show.
So annual report. Here we go.
That's a different location.
Yeah, Tuesday, March 29th, from 2 to 4. Oh, I'm sorry. That's just what you said, New Hampshire Association for the Blind.
But they have it at various places. Sometimes it's at the Lakes Region Planning Commission or the Mid-State Planning Commission in Concord. We've had it here a couple times. Belmont over at the mill a couple times.
Well, I have a complete packet of information here. So if someone is interested, maybe you'd want to look it over and see.
I would jump in, but I would jump in, but the first couple of ones I'm going to be missing.
Okay. I didn't know if maybe anyone from chat or anything.
Wow, that might be you know what? That may be another alternate. Alternative, like Iris or,
Iris or Jane or Emily or, because it's a component of the disabled bus, the regular bus schedules, the volunteer driver program, and the funding for all those programs. We're working on a taxi voucher program for places that don't get any of those services. The mission of the Regional Coordinating Council is to get rides to people who need rides, and whatever that might look like, and to get funding for
to
that.
get one of them as a backup. We can have one and then have it as, I'll be the alternate if one can't make it.
Yep.
I mean, that would work. I won't, I'll be out for 3 months maybe. So I don't know.
So did you want me to?
I'll take the package.
In the interim, I asked them.
Explain.
Yeah, it's got everything in here, what they're doing. No, that they want someone from Tilton was a verbal conversation I had with Lisa, what was her name?
Yeah, he's a mobility manager.
So I said, well, use my email in the meantime to keep sending information, so.
Okay.
So Tilton resident?
So a Tilton resident, right?
Or someone that's involved
Associated with the senior the
transportation.
rides and,
That would be ideal, because
Yeah.
who would know better about the need for those kind of rides more than somebody out of the senior center? And they could go with me, and I can introduce them around, give them some of the history, and bring them up to speed, and
okay, I'll ask.
Going through this real quick.
That's good. That's progress.
Those can be for another time. I have to do this without giving names. We have an individual who has a payment agreement with the town,
I
Yes.
was just wondering how that was going.
and I don't have the file with me tonight, but I did want to bring to your attention, what I'm looking for is if, for the board's permission to send this individual a letter reminding them of
He has a
the
balloon payment.
balloon payment.
Oh, yeah, I know
They've
the one
been
you took
making the
off.
payments?
Yes, they're all up to date on the payments, and there's a balloon payment due in April.
And I would
I think that's
let
a
him
good
know
idea.
exactly how much it is.
Yes,
My
it's right
faith
there.
has been
surprises.
restored.
It's right there.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Cindy just gave it to us.
Well,
I was skeptical.
You were.
My faith has been restored.
You were.
I'm glad. I always get nervous about those.
I think that's a
Actually,
good idea.
every payment
Just send them a
plan,
letter.
in my experience, that we have
Yes.
entered into
So far.
over the years, well, in the last 5 years anyway, they've made every single payment, they've made every single payment on time, haven't had any issues, scenes, or anything else. Yay.
Yep. This is great.
okay. The next item, I apologize for getting it to you so late. I started working on this on Tuesday morning, but it just kept interrupting, and I'll save this for Johnny's agenda, but I can go make copies, because I doubt that you've had an opportunity to check your email, because I sent it by email. I didn't put it on the,
What is it about?
this has to do with a job description for a...
Yes, I did check that.
You did. So you want to talk about that when Johnny comes up, and I'll make some copies. Yeah, Gail had mentioned, when I was reviewing earlier in the week with her on what went on Thursday, that the selectmen were looking for the seasonal job description, and we do have a seasonal custodial position that the board created for the Parks Commission.
There was one years ago. Before that, it was back
Right, but in 2009...
6 probably.
Right. In 2009, the board readopted all of our job descriptions, so all the official town job descriptions are on the website, which they are. And what we've used since 2009, when we've just, because we haven't had any highway seasonal people, we've just taken our regular job descriptions and just made the employee aware that this is the job, but it's seasonal and it's temporary. We didn't have a separate job description. And in fact, we used the light equipment operator for the snowplow person, but they knew that the only light equipment that they could operate was just the trackless. But if they had a CDL, they could then help out with a route. So, and we put that in the advertisement and in their PAR form. So what I did is I took our labor light equipment operator full-time hourly job description that the board had approved in 2009 and deleted light equipment operator, these are drafts, and put in hourly seasonal, and it applies to both, for just labor for both summer and winter. So I don't know if you want to do that tonight, or we could work on this at a future meeting, but at least we've got something to work off of, that the board had already approved the format.
You know, I've been seeing a lot of ads in the papers for the different towns are already recruiting their help.
Yep. So did you want to do that with Johnny when you're meeting with Johnny, or do you want to do that next week?
I would suggest that we have an opportunity to read them.
Okay.
So next week.
For next week, because I tried to get it out sooner for tonight's meeting, but that wasn't possible. Okay, the other thing both Gail and Tim had filled me in on was your meeting that you had last week. I believe that was in non-public. But I have a date and time.
Yeah,
What now?
the meeting that you had down the street.
Oh,
And to,
like, for a meeting.
so if any of you are available,
Let me see. Boy, that's coming up quick. Is Tim available?
yes.
And you're available?
Yes, Tim and I made a, not a conference call, a speaker.
Oh, that's, oh, boy.
Well, they're calling together. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other people.
That's the morning of doing this,
I'm busy.
We gave him,
That's my main priority.
it's Thursday, right?
Were you able to
Yeah,
direct?
Thursday.
We had originally requested
trailer?
Wednesday,
Pick that up.
either morning or
Get out there.
afternoon,
All right,
but he
I'll
called me and a
this
backup
We'll
date for
get together
Thursday.
prior to that, so you can
And
tell me
that's what he
what
came
goes
back
where.
with.
and
Okay. All right, I'll take that because Joe is going to
I'm gonna be- yeah,
supervise that's the beginning of our ripping out of the floor at the senior center for 4 days, and we have a 4-day project going on.
Yeah, the
And-
meeting shouldn't take longer than an hour, hour and a half at the
So
most.
I can attend that. Joe's going to supervise removal of the furniture into the trailer, and then by that time I'll be back. All right, so then
Not gonna be there.
Peter's got a job.
And then I
What are you
can,
doing that day?
JOB.
and I can fill you in on the conversation, because there's a little bit of strategy talk.
Tim will be there, right?
Oh, yes. Yes, he's...
We'll let
yeah.
let you guys lead.
Okay, yeah, and we talked about that with,
Okay.
so we're all...
All right, got it.
Okay, the Conservation Commission sent me an application for milfoil fund usage. I'm assuming this is because requests come in every year from, it can be any other organization, but it's been Silver Lake Association?
Yes. They
Well,
have in the
and
past.
occasionally Jay's Marina,
Right.
their
Okay.
cove.
Okay, so this is the form that they adopted to you, so do you want me to automatically send this now just to them, saying if and when you want to apply to the Tilton Conservation Commission, this is the form to
And the
use?
agents of the fund.
Conservation is the agency of the fund.
They could make it available. I think there's something explaining it on the website.
Oh, I don't have to
too.
show it to you.
No, I worked on it Monday night. It's got me out of my reports.
No,
Nice
well, I
job.
mean, any forms that we have, adopted forms, we'll add to our website, but
I think it should
I didn't
go
want to just go ahead and put something on there without you knowing.
Yeah, looks
Did
good
I
to
take-
me.
apply for it last year.
I don't know
No.
what the other one looked like, but that one looks good.
Somebody came in and asked for the check for it,
Doesn't
that they
work
heard
like
it
that.
passed it. That's where that came.
Doesn't
To make sure
work
it's
like
real-
that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm here to
I
pick up...
remember when that
I'm
happened,
here to
though.
pick up the check for the money that was appropriated for milfoil last year.
No.
Did you, somebody
didn't.
I
feel
remember
that
when
way?
that happened.
Yeah.
I would have rendered
Yeah, right away.
And when we asked for all the information and receipts and that, they never came back.
Well, we're already getting requests for, the appropriations.
Oh, great. That's good.
But when people ask me about it, I say you have to apply through town administrator at town hall. Get in touch with Joyce. She can give you the information about how to apply.
Oh, I send them
Just
to
because
Chuck.
we've made appropriations doesn't mean we're just going to automatically
Right.
send checks to people.
I send
We're very eager to spend the money in the right way
Right.
and something that's going to work, and
And make sure it gets to the right people.
Yep.
Because anybody could come up and say, oh, I'm Old Home Day and I'm here for a check. You know? I'm the new guy.
So I'll make sure that people in town hall know, if anybody calls to inquire about the milfoil fund, that we go on the website, we have an application form.
Perfect.
Yep.
Maybe we could even just put, well, no, we'll just do it that way.
what does it take to get that in the newspaper?
That would do a blurb on
Can
that.
Can you do like a little press release to the Conservation Commission? or-
You can just call Donna and tell her about it, and she'll write a little blurb about it.
Maybe something
Letter
about
to the
Earth Day,
editor?
too.
Right, let it to the editor.
Oh, Earth Day.
Well, we're
too.
not using that paper, though.
There's more than one paper, I think, that do letters to the
Yeah,
editor.
that would be nice if
All the
the
papers do
Conservation
that.
That's what I
Commission
thought.
sent a letter letting people know that we have this.
If you do a
No.
letter to that one, you're not paying anyways.
Yeah.
That's how you circumvent it.
The information you get is the information you send.
Yeah.
I'll make this quick and try and explain it as simply as possible, because it took me spending quite a bit of time reading the IRS regs and talking with our Muni Smart software people, and also talking with the Health Trust on this Affordable Care Act. Remember, they told us a while ago, so we were prepared for it. We have all the data. Part of the Affordable Care Act is that to tie in with an employee's W-2 that we give them, because we put information on there on their health insurance, what the town's base plan is. And then the employee, every employee, whether you're a large employer or a small employer, has to get these forms 1095B, which this is a sample. I'll pass it around. Maybe some of you have already received these
I
from your
received
employer.
them. I wondered what it was.
Yeah, most people don't know. Because we are a small employer, we still have to complete it, and this is our data that we collected, that I've got to put all this data on the form, and Tim and I tried unsuccessfully, the amount of time we tried to write the program to export the data into the form, I said, I can just enter this by hand. And Gail and I, we can get it right in there. Because the form that our payroll system has is both for large employers and small employers. It's the same form. Because there's a lot of that information we don't have to include. So, anyway, so I only received one call from an employee saying, when am I getting my, they're holding up my income tax return, filing my income tax return because I don't have my 1095B. And I said, well, you don't need it for your income tax return. So I sent an email out to all the employees saying, you will be getting this form, because they kept moving the deadline back. I think this is the third time they changed the deadline. It's March 31st, so I still have until next Thursday to finish entering this. And it's just for their own records, which shows them what months they received coverage of health insurance.
In case you're audited.
In case you're audited, and also somewhere down in Washington or wherever, some machine is going to be taking this information and matching it with IRS documents, so that's how they're going to find people that don't have health insurance.
So they can take their money.
Right.
So that the
Wonder how much
medical
it costs
thing's
to
probably
find
gonna
out.
be-
medical insurance police can
Pardon
come
me?
after you.
So they can fine you because you can't afford it.
Right. So some employees may have gotten, maybe they had insurance before they came to us from a large employer. So they're getting this from their large employer, and then they're like, where's mine? So just so you know, I don't know if I copied you on it. I don't know if I sent it to the full board or not. Just a little explanation. You don't need this, and I sent them the IRS.
What form is it called?
1095B. And that,
No, 12 full-time employees.
our retirees and our COBRAs. That we did. I'm almost done.
We took Joyce while we had some time that we could have taken you earlier.
Yes, I said you do not need to file this form with your 2015 tax return. And you will be getting it shortly. It's just, it wasn't that difficult to get the information. I have the information, it's getting the software to do it. Okay, next week I'll need a non-public to talk about COBRA. Because right now, Health Trust, they manage our COBRAs. And since I've been here with the town, I have not had a COBRA. So in almost 10 years, we've never had someone leave that elected to stay on the insurance. Until now.
Okay.
So I'll have more information about that. I'll save this for a minute. This can wait till next week. Cindy has the minutes from the town meeting. I emailed this to all of you. Good reading. In your accounts payable, you'll find do you have any accounts payable this week?
Yes.
Just two things that I had to do some research on. Two invoices that were 2015 invoices. So I just wanted to let you know that it's good that we have a procedure in place that we can catch these things. So if you have any question, well, why is this being paid now? One, never got the bill, and the second one was an oversight. It was not my oversight, but it was an oversight. So the good thing is that we have procedures in place to make sure that get everything all squared away before we have our audit.
Are all of the invoices from 2015 current at this point? As far as you
As
know?
far as I know,
Right.
from ones that I'm responsible for.
I have a question. I think I asked it before, and I don't recall the answer. The minutes from the town meeting, are they ever accepted or reviewed
Not by the Board of Selectmen.
by anybody?
Don't they accept them at the next town meeting? Didn't we? We didn't,
No.
did we? Whoa.
According to the
good
class I
question.
took at LGC, minutes technically do not have to be accepted, per se.
The town clerk reviews them.
They're reviewed. They're reviewed. We can review them, and say, but you forgot this or whatever, but she's the one responsible for them, and there's no RSA that says we have to accept or approve minutes.
She's
what
directly
LGC
responsible
said.
for recording them and filing them and keeping them.
If somebody ever did find something wrong, the procedure,
Going to the town clerk.
Yeah.
Town clerk's responsible for the meeting. Minutes.
And if
thanks.
there is something wrong with the minutes, before they get posted into the next town report, it should,
Can't change them once she's accepted them.
has she accepted them already?
I did. She signed them, they're accepted.
They're accepted then?
They're done.
Now, this is the estimate, you had asked for an estimate. So based on this estimate, this is what the land use office would like. And they've also asked that they would love to come up and answer your questions.
LED paint.
Yeah. There's an
Maybe it
example.
shines in the dark.
Past tense lead, there isn't any.
I walked through the office with both of them, so I have
Sounds
a
like
good
lead.
understanding of it. I think for two people that have to work in a small office space like that, I think they're
It's
both
a lot.
very happy. Well, we can always get, if you approve the concept, we can get bids.
I don't know what they're doing.
Well, they're putting in countertops, that what's in the beige is countertop.
FC is small, short filing cabinets that go
Right,
underneath.
that go underneath, that carry the countertops.
So the only thing they're doing
Is putting in a
that
door,
we
I do have-
suggested is putting a door into
Dale's office.
the administrative assistant's office, which will give us less room in that office for filing cabinets.
That's correct.
I thought we were going to put window,
So did I.
like up above.
Right.
How did this
Or
go
door,
from
or door. I
installing
suggested that. They didn't want windows.
some sort
They
of
wanted to have a
light
second.
source so they weren't in a closet to
No, because they
a complete
wanted-
remodel?
They wanted to have another means of egress,
Why?
because it's a safety factor. They're the only office,
No.
other than
No,
Heather,
Heather.
No, Heather,
that doesn't have a second means of egress. He can go out through the,
how? Climb over his desk?
yeah, but he can still get out.
And how does he get through the door?
Just opens it.
But, I mean, where I work, there's
I don't know if
probably
that qualifies.
30 offices that don't have second doors in them, like, I mean, offices typically don't have that, that's,
Well, from a municipal standpoint, when you have problems with the public, and people have been shot and killed, it's either taxes or land use.
But they're going to do the painting and the prime, this company's
That's
going
why-
to do painting and priming and everything, right?
Yeah, this is
So
a...
the whole office is going to be redone, top to bottom.
Oh, well, I think all the only places
Because
that are
it
being
says-
painted are that it need to be painted.
It says paint and prime where needed.
Yeah, paint and prime.
Trim door with matching casing around the door.
Filing cabinets, the
Yeah.
FCs.
Yeah, we got them all. Got those.
I didn't get
we all
that. I didn't get that one. I guess this.
The
But
only
can we
thing
look
right
at the
there.
place where we get the filing cabinets from to see if they have
Well, we
existing
haven't
ones?
even- Let's back up. We didn't budget for this,
Yeah, this,
We do have it in building maintenance though, right?
except now we won't be doing what we plan to do with the money that we put in building maintenance because we'll be using it on this.
Well, when you take two people that build things, and they said, okay, ideally, this is what they would like.
So this is the wish list. What do we do with that?
The only thing this doesn't have, and I remeasured it with Dari, is that there is an electrical outlet that will need to be moved. There's three on that wall. Why we have three electrical outlets on that wall, I don't know. One is a dedicated one, so we definitely want to keep that one, but the other one, we don't really need,
On which wall?
going into the selectman's office. So there's no electrician in this. But they would love to come talk with the board and answer your questions.
I'd like to have some dimensions on this, because this space here, that's a very small space between where Dari is now. This cupboard basically is here, and to move it here,
No,
there's a,
that's a desk. That's like a
We're
service.
adding to
this
that.
says file cabinets, okay, they're right now, right
No, it's a
here.
file cabinet, it's
FC.
a counter, right,
There's a
but it's a
short
counter
file
on top of it.
cabinet.
Whatever it is.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Well, regardless of what it
they
is,
hold the counter up.
this thing,
It's a desk.
Yeah,
right now, there's a thing right there.
That's correct.
Against that wall. I know it's correct. And they're gonna move it here, which is gonna reduce the amount of space
it's only for one person, right?
he has. Right now, there isn't much space there at all. You walk in this door,
But you're actually adding more counter space for him to work on.
I'm
Right.
talking about the space between that thing and this thing. It's gonna be about like this.
About 4 feet.
Right, about 4 feet. Which is
Oh, yeah,
what
there's a
we're,
scale on
just
there, right?
enough for him to
This-
get his
this is-
desk in to move
Yeah, it's barely.
back and forth.
Yeah.
It's probably a little bit less than what Tim has right now in his,
Yeah.
in around his desk.
Oh, it's less than what he has. Anyway,
But and this, they're getting rid of the bookcase. Cindy's already claimed it.
Of course. So the
Thi-
bookcases that were here by the door
Are leaving.
are leaving, okay.
This map drawer, which is kind of hard to get into because it's there, is going to be turned.
Okay.
So the doors are facing out,
So you can get into it,
get into them.
okay?
By having his desk here, it feels more like it is a counter, so when people come in,
Yeah, you've got that boundary.
he's got
right?
that, right, and plus he's facing them, and he's got something there. If it's something that they're going to come in, then you can control the flow. They come in here, if they're going to talk to him, they sit here. If they're going to talk to Al, they sit there. And if something happens...
And it also gives them the counter space in which to sit down and work with them on the plans that they have.
where are they putting all the reference books?
Okay, let me finish. There's, the two file cabinets here will be moved here, and the two larger ones, the material that's in there, if it can't be stored downstairs, if that's something they need daily, that's why they wanted the smaller file cabinets underneath their desks. The stuff that they're using regularly are under there. So by having more file cabinets down here, they still have these here that they can put road books, they can box plans or whatever, but they want to try and reduce having stuff going up towards the ceiling. They did say that.
Where will the reference books be stored?
The road books or the reference books?
Reference books.
They can,
On top of
well,
the-
most everything we have now is all online, but we could put it,
On top of
On
the
top here.
existing.
because these
This
planning
already,
board books,
this already has, this is already filled with the road books.
yes, so those can go on top there.
So now you're going to put the reference books on top of the road books that you
When you
can't
say
reach?
the reference books, what reference books do
You have
mean?
all of our wetland studies, you have, you have
Well, a lot of these,
master plan, you have, I mean, go in there and
Yeah.
look, you have,
well, all of our planning, most of them are binders of planning board and zoning board minutes of the
I know
original
exactly
minutes.
what's up there, because I go in there all the time to get,
So those
reference
binders
those.
could go in the safe, because those are the original
I'm
documents.
not talking about minutes, I'm talking about reference books.
Okay. Then we can get those plastic things like Cindy has underneath her counter, where she keeps all the town reports, and just put them in those. Those are inexpensive, and leave them on top.
Where are you gonna put them? This is already full of stuff. This is already got the bookshelf for the road books on top of it. And you're gonna put more stuff on top of this?
Why
Where
don't
are
we
the
have them
existing
come in?
plans?
Well,
Where are
that's
the
what I'm saying,
existing-
they want to come in.
So I got a question.
Over here.
You know, when the PD did the kitchen over, it was officers that did most of the work. Is that a possibility to save?
You can ask them. I mean, both of them have done,
They're not
well, I
gonna
know
have
one
time
has
to
done
do
this
their-
type
Well,
of
the
work
officers
before.
did it on their own time.
Right, so when the land use now are on their own time, I know Hal's at another job. And Dari only has, what, the weekends? He's 5 days a week here, he's full-time.
Well, they thought that this was a good price for this.
Well, we
There's no
require
budget
3
for it.
bids.
I know, but we want to get a bid on exactly what's going to be done.
Well, I'm still back to the windows. Well, I'm not for reducing,
All the windows will do.
I'm not for reducing the amount of space we have in the administrative
Because
assistant's
initially,
office.
initially when you came, that was the plan. That's what they told you that they wanted, was some type of window, because when the door has to be shut, you have to have some type of air coming in there. And this is, you know, desks and files and a new door, and there's nothing taken care of if you have to have, if there's a meeting out in the conference room, and you have to shut that door, it doesn't take care of the initial problem that they brought to us.
Well, the other thing that was mentioned is even if you put windows in here, where's Al's office? Here,
Yep.
some sort of case, just something you can open up the top, you're still going to get, when people are standing outside Jim's office talking, you're going to get the noise of people walking through the hallway.
And the noise from the meeting.
Does
So they
every
really
office-
didn't want the air then?
Yeah, so as every office downstairs gets, every office downstairs is disrupted by someone talking in a hallway.
Right. So this, I'm just presenting what they would like.
Okay, well,
They knew,
I had a question. We're looking at buying more file cabinets. When we put the land use person on to full-time, the objective was that we were going to get way ahead on electronic storage of files. How far, I'd like some type of report, how far we've gotten on that. What percentage of the files or, of our objective has been filled, so that, maybe some of these files can be reduced or will be.
the law still requires us to keep paper.
We don't have to keep them in the offices.
Well,
What
Right,
they
no, we
have
have
in
it
the
one of them
office now is
downstairs.
actually what they're working on now. That's what's kept in the office.
How far have we gotten towards any type of paper reduction, though?
That you have to ask them.
yeah.
That was-
I-
that was the key
assessing
thing.
standpoint, it's all set to go. I spent
Yeah.
2 days since we got, Tim wrote us a little program to scan
Downstairs
and
is a
name. He even
nightmare.
wrote a little program that can automatically name things once we scan them. The police are using that right now. So I've started.
I mean, that was the land use, one of the purposes of his going to full-time was to reduce paperwork and to work on that. And I think we need to find out,
one of the problems is nothing more should go down in that storage room until it's organized. You can't find
Right,
really
you have
anything.
I mean,
It is chaotic.
Right, but right now, as you first go in the storage room, everything in that storage room now, the first room outside of the file cabinet, because that's where we're putting the assessing things, can be destroyed, but I've got to go through it and see, I can't just take, oh, this is a 1988 accounts payable. I have to just quickly go through
A
it.
committee needs to go through it.
But
No, a committee approves what needs to be destroyed, but not, a committee doesn't have to look at every single piece of paper.
So has a committee determined what needs to be destroyed?
Well, we're going by the statute.
Right.
But we have a
As far as
thing
I know, that hasn't been done.
All right, well, that's getting off the beaten path.
But-
This is a $700 for file cabinets in addition to the quote. And then the quote includes the countertop, I'm sure, right?
Yes.
But it does not include the file cabinets, right?
Oh, it doesn't.
The quote includes countertops. Does it include the file cabinet? I don't believe so. Because I don't see
I
file
don't see it.
cabinets.
So I suppose we can ask Dari and Al to come in and explain it. That's what the board would like.
I'd like to see where the money's going to come from, because we're in the,
Yeah.
we just approved our budget.
Yep.
And if all this major of a job was planned on being done, it should have been put in the budget last year, instead of hitting with us the first month of the, couple
We
months of
can
the budget.
always go
wholeheartedly
through the
agree.
bid process, we can always go through the design problem, because it sounds to me like it's gonna take a few sessions before we actually agree on what's gonna happen, and then put it in the budget for next year. That can happen too. We can't, we don't have to
You're
rule
allowed
that
to
out.
rebid it in the fall,
Right,
so there's no sense in doing it now.
but just the design,
And
we can't
address-
agree on it.
And
So let's
address
talk
the
to
door
them and
to the,
figure out what it
I
is.
mean, these are the two people that work in
This
there.
door is going to be,
So if we're going to make some changes, this is what they would like.
And we have a town clerk that's been asking us to remodel an area for her for years. Why aren't we listening to that?
Well, and a welfare office.
That's right.
and carpet the downstairs.
So let's get in line. But this is, I agree with John, this is nowhere in our budget. This is not what we talked about and discussed. I have no interest in reviewing this whatsoever, personally, so.
So you don't want them to come in and answer the questions?
I have no questions. I'm just, this is, I mean, it's up to the rest of you. I'm
What
just
is it?
one of five.
What does the rest of the board
I have-
feel
Towards the end of the year, and see how our budget's going.
for next year?
Well, maybe this year.
Well, do
If
you
we
wanna
have
just
money in the
get
budget
them
towards
a
the
new
end.
door? Just one new door that has a window in it?
You said they didn't want windows.
No, a door, this door is going to have a window in it, so that when they close it,
That's part of the bid?
yeah, that they can see who's standing outside the door when the door is closed.
All right, what's your take on it?
I wasn't in favor of any of this to start with, so windows, half doors. My feeling is that my opinion has not changed.
If other entities downstairs had wanted change prior to, then they should get in line and address the ones that were asking the earliest.
I haven't seen any of those plans either.
Right.
I think it's going to take a major revamp and actually putting some offices up here on the stage in order for us to do that. That's what that entails. And then moving the town clerk, tax collector down to accommodate that.
I think John has a very good point that maybe we need to look at this
On a
in
whole,
August or September when we're
Right.
into our budget and see where we're spending is and
and if we have any money left over towards the end of the year,
Well, what initially generated this was that when people are walking through, there's meetings, congregating right here, and they're on the phone, or they're trying to talk with people. So the initial suggestion was to get a door with a window in it they could close. At least that way they wouldn't feel like they were closed with no windows, was the initial.
Well, the other thing is that door, that, we're talking 10, 15 minutes, unless there's a meeting there, the rare occasion there's a meeting, but,
Okay.
All right, so we'll table this idea until further notice, because that's what it seems like the consensus is, and we'll look at the entire scope of work that people's wish lists in the office.
The island, I confirmed with Glenn that the Northfield Selectmen voted to go with the low bidder, and that's all for now. They don't want to do an annual maintenance. And did we bring up that file? Do I have that file of the bids? Oh, I've got it right in front of me. Which is this one?
The low bidder is Magoon for 14,
These are the other ones.
no, that's annual, so it's, if job was completed in March 2016, it would be $1,600. Otherwise,
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Well, road bans are still on, our weight limits are still on.
But this is Route 3, there's no weight limit.
I can barely hear what's going on.
Route 3 doesn't have a weight limit.
No, it doesn't.
Well, do you want me to call him and see if he can extend that? What is it without, if it's beyond March?
Who's got what, 4 days next week?
well, he says trimming of broken hanging and dead limbs through the trees that pose a hazard on Tilton Northfield Island Park with removal of debris is $1,800. If job was to complete it in March of 2016, it's $1,600. Dead oak tree 15 inches to be removed on the east side of the island, $500. Fallen trees in riverbank to be removed on the east side, $500. And then he said the annual tree maintenance for danger limbs and trimming removal not included is $1,400. So if you eliminate that, it looks to me like it's either $2,600 or $2,800. 14 of that, 12 or 14 of that would be ours.
Do you know if
They
you,
would pay half.
13 or 14 would be ours.
if you read these others, there seems to be more work described on these than there is on this. So this is less because he's leaving out necessary work. So why would you go with the low bidder who's not doing a complete job?
Because those other bids couldn't agree on what, even the landscapers couldn't agree on what needed to be done.
Well, again, this is the absolute minimal.
That's all they're willing to contribute towards.
Okay, but maybe the Board of Selectmen in Tilton has a different opinion that needs to be discussed with them. I mean, this describes cabling of a tree, and when you cable a tree, it's because there's limbs that are in danger of eventually falling on people.
Right, and they, according to Glenn, their board discussed that because these proposals were all proposing different things. They voted to go with the minimal amount of work, the low bidder.
Well, again, I think maybe the Board of Selectmen in Tilton should review these and put them in a charted form where we're looking at, what is each one describing as work, go through a process of, okay, maybe this doesn't need to be done, and maybe it should be done for safety reasons, and then have a discussion with the Board of Selectmen in Northfield. I just think that you go with a low bidder, it's not necessarily the best thing, especially where these are describing necessary work.
What does the rest of the board feel?
I think we should get together with some of the selectmen and the Public Works directors and meet on the island and take a look at it, identify it. So everybody's,
That's what we tried to do, and they didn't want to do that. Why would they want to do that now?
Well,
well,
maybe we should just do it
say
without
that
them.
we're going to go and we're going to meet, and if they're invited to go take a look. That's all I can say. I mean, that's the right thing to do, so that everybody, you can look at a piece of paper and you know,
I know they.
somebody says
they did- they didn't-
cable, maybe
I
we
tried
can-
3 times, when are you guys going to meet? And the response I got, they don't want to meet. They want the highway directors to discuss, come back to them and say, what do you want to do?
And that went over real big.
Right. And they went, yeah, and then they looked at all of those. They were aware that the other proposals were proposing different things. They took a vote that said, we'll go with the low bidder. That's their position. If you think you can change their mind, that'd be great. We asked for their input, and that's what their response was.
Yeah, I haven't, to be honest, I haven't been down there to take a look at it. I'm off tomorrow, I'll go down, take a look before I can even,
Take some of those, copies of those
yeah, are
with you.
those
Sue.
scanned in?
Hmm?
Are those scanned in? So they're, I think they're in the,
I don't know if they're on the dashboard, but that's no problem.
okay.
I know I emailed
Yeah.
them to each board member
And somebody
take a
as soon
look
as I
tomorrow.
got them.
Somebody needs to
Yeah,
identify,
I've seen-
is this a true safety hazard? Or is it not? Can it wait?
Nobody
Yep.
can really
All right, well, let's
do
move
that except
forward.
for an expert, but
Yeah.
So we'll put that on hold.
educated.
Put that on your
trust
agenda
your
for next week, so we can discuss it.
Right, so...
There's nothing holding the Board of Selectmen in Tilton for choosing the other bid.
Just an excuse.
It's just that the monies, they're
That's all
not
they're
willing,
willing to put in.
they're not, that's all they're willing to put in.
Park commissioners for the Easter egg hunt.
Okay, don't want to.
If you think meeting with them would change that?
They don't want to meet with us.
I think
That's what they
obvious.
indicated. That's what they've indicated to me, anyway.
Right, because you spoke with Wayne.
Wayne, right? I did.
Okay, so, I brought this just to remind you that later you were going to talk about that.
Yes, in non-public.
Yep. And you're going to talk about Tim's report later?
Yes,
Okay, and that's all I had.
all right.
Just one other thing. My little notes here. Wait, and did we hear back from the flagpole guy yet? We're still working on the flagpole. That's good. We're good. We are. Our town is very good.
Is that State of the Union late?
That's the State of the Union address. Good.
All right, Johnny.
Charges.
It's too easy.
What?
No, I asked a question, well, there was a couple things, because I don't like charge cards, but one of them was for some,
Sunny Bunny Easter eggs. He asked about the Sunny Bunny Easter eggs.
I saw the Sunny Bunny Easter egg charge here.
Do you want some, is that it?
I didn't know you had to buy Easter eggs. I thought the rabbit just dropped them off. And now you've ruined it for me.
All right, moving forward, Johnny's here.
I did call the Franklin DPW. He was on vacation most of the week. So got a hold of him finally today, and we discussed about the trash situation and possibly dealing with them for removal. And what he explained to me was basically they're out straight with the equipment and manpower that they have. They do trash pickup and recycling 3 days a week in the town of, the city of Franklin. And they do about 1,000 stops a day. And they're maxed out. If they have a truck that goes down, they had one for service. That was down for, I think he said 2 weeks. So they have another truck as a backup, and then when that happens, they have to take people off of their highway department to help. And then they have to load it all by hand, and so he said basically the same people that run their trash pickup trucks, their trash trucks, are the same people that run their transfer station. So it said it just wouldn't work out, fortunately, because they are maxed out. So that was the word I got back from them. And as I sent you guys the email this week about the state, they're gonna, weather permitting, they're gonna start sweeping Monday. So we got everything swept along Route 3 on the sidewalks that would go out to the road. So that's finally, that's done. We do have our normal hand sweeping that we do along Route 3 that we sweep and pick up.
Reason we didn't do around Town Hall and in front of the inn.
We haven't made it that far yet. That's stuff that we,
Doing that tomorrow?
we'll be jumping on it just as soon as we can. I didn't do anything today,
Thought you said they were sweeping on Monday.
the state.
Okay, so...
What are you talking about?
The state's gonna come down Route 3?
They don't, as far as I know, they don't come into the parking spaces. We clean those up by hand.
Oh,
And also when we get Mike Rabbit, which I've already contacted them, they haven't come out with their list yet, it's still early.
were we gonna have somebody weekly do around Town Hall? From Public Works?
That would be us, if we...
Because they haven't been, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, they haven't been, but if we want them cleaned up weekly, we will. The sand, this is early for cleaning up sand.
I'm talking about, I thought it was at least a month or so ago. This has always been a problem. I typically do it, because it's not getting done. The cigarette butts, the trash, the garbage, cleaning out the flower pot beside the door that people use as an ashtray and their garbage disposal. I mean, we're getting to look pretty shabby.
When it gets really, really shabby, if Catherine isn't around and doesn't do it, we used to call Dennis and say, hey, get someone down here. So I think it really should be part of a weekly maintenance.
Weekly maintenance, we can do that, because we already do the weekly maintenance when we get the trash cans out, and we go through and clean up the trash cans. I can definitely make that a part of it, and I can also turn that into a weekly, yearly maintenance thing. We discussed that a little bit earlier, too, about doing that. But the last couple of weeks, we haven't been out straight cleaning up anyway for spring maintenance. We were doing...
If we're cleaning up, we should be cleaning up everything, especially Town Hall.
Town hall, yes.
Well, if there's a cigarette butt problem around Town Hall, then maybe the benches should go.
There's no benches out there now. It doesn't matter if there's benches there. It's all winter long. Doesn't matter.
Well, so is that the only spot on Main Street that gets cigarette butts?
No.
So why is it just, it's like you're street sweeping here, they don't do Lockmere, why sweep just around Town Hall and not the rest of Main Street?
I think
Well, this
General
is...
public
this
comes
is-
here. This
yeah,
is the main hub.
our building.
Right.
Like I said, I've been doing it for years, taking the broom and going out and sweeping because it looks awful.
part of our
There's salt
ordinance
all
says
over the
that the
steps.
storekeepers have to keep the outside of their stores in the sidewalk clear, if I remember correctly.
I believe so.
They have to sweep the sidewalk, keep it free of trash. And
Right.
Is that enforced like half of our other regulations that we turn a
Nope.
blind eye to?
Nope.
But
But
us
so-
us being the tenants have to
Yeah.
keep our section
Right.
clean.
So we're keeping our section clean.
Or Catherine is. Do we have a
See
butt
the-
can out there?
Police officers
there's just-
marking cars the other day.
Those of ours
Yeah,
that
tire
go
marker.
there, throw them down the drain.
Oh.
Or they bring them in home and throw them in the
Because one
garbage.
other thing, where it's a place where people come in and out and on smoking, they're probably smoking and throwing them on the ground. I don't know if it'd be worthwhile to put the butt can out there to pick them up.
Or like one of those
And-
little pole ones that have the little hole, you just,
Yeah.
It might be an idea, because I think you're right. I mean, when they come into Town Hall and they've got a cigarette, they've got to do something with it, so they put it in the flower pot. What's really nice is somebody usually deposits either one of those, I want to stay up forever drinks, or a coffee cup, so there's something always to put the cigarette butts in.
What are
Believe it
the
or not,
town
we
halls?
actually did Main Street once this year already. The sidewalks on Main Street, they've already been cleaned once. So the guys did that. We cleaned all of Main Street, and we did the parking stalls this side. The only thing we didn't do was, they did the sidewalk on the other side, but we didn't get a chance to clear off the parking stalls of sand. But we will be coming back for that, because the state's gonna go down through and clean in the center. They just don't
that's
go
right.
out to the parking stalls.
But Rabbit will get them.
But Rabbit will do that under patrol sweeping, they call it, where they come through every other week. And we haven't got the schedule for that yet. They are aware of the contract that you guys signed last week. And they don't have a schedule yet, because they're still waiting on the weather, and probably, they usually start around the middle of April.
This is abnormal. Yeah.
Yeah, because this is way too early to do it, in my opinion, but I was glad that Bob came and let me know that of their schedule, because had they not, and they already come through and swept, all the stuff that we normally sweep into the street, we would have then had to come by, sweep it into the street anyway,
Dump my-
and sweep it piles
Kick
and
my-
pick it up.
Yard rug.
So, but no, as far as around the town hall, if that's what the board wants, we can sweep around the town hall and clean that up too. That's no problem.
Consensus?
Yeah, this is where.
Yes.
I thought Catherine was
Yes.
doing a good job.
So, yeah. we can-
I don't mind doing it, but I just don't have time to do it all the time.
No, especially in the summer, it'd be
And it's,
to,
So we'll work out a
Make that
schedule
a part
between the
of-
two entities.
do the trash
They can work it
and
between
on Fridays.
themselves.
We can just make that a part of the general run.
it should be done at the beginning of the week.
You think beginning of the week? Okay.
Well, sure, because if you do it on Friday, then all you got the weekends get to look horrible again, and people start using it on Monday.
Yeah,
So
by
we
the
look
weekends
horrible.
when the people are
Right.
frequenting in and out
So
of
if you
the.
start on Monday, then at least has a chance to look good for
The
more than
people
half the
show up.
week.
All right, then I can work on it for Monday too. I'll make it the first thing
That's
to
just
do
my
before we get
opinion.
into, our schedule, regular schedule.
How often do you dump the trash in those cans? Once?
Usually we do, because I was here at the end of it last year, usually it's once a week. I'm sure we can probably monitor them, and
They do
there might be other
monitor.
weeks that are, huh?
They do monitor it, sometimes it's twice a week.
Yeah, because I'm sure that sometimes, some weeks are busier than others.
Riverfront Park is more
If
than
you were
once a
down
week.
here doing it 2 times a week.
Probably go down in June.
Maybe just do this twice, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll just make it a part of our regular run.
Riverfront Park trash pickup is twice a week
It
at Public
is,
Works.
is it twice a week there? So
Yes.
maybe I can work that into it. I'll figure it out, and I'll give you guys a schedule of when we're gonna do that.
All right,
Or is necessary.
next. Go ahead, next.
Okay, sweeping. And I heard back from John. He's scheduled right now for the 21st of April to have his knee
That's
surgery
personnel,
done.
right?
Yep,
That's personnel,
non-public.
right? That's non-public.
Oh, that's not, oh, I'm sorry. And so,
Okay, we'll talk about that in non-public. Go ahead.
okay, yeah, so we've been working on our cleaning up the side of the road, spring cleaning and sweeping. We've been concentrating on both of those for now.
All right, does anyone else have any questions for John?
Yeah, I talked to Tommy down T-Hop, and they're going to be doing something with upgrading their shrubs there, and we were talking about the yews that have turned into trees in the middle of that lot there. They're just overgrown and grown, and they're kind of
You mean on top of the sewer thing?
on top of the sewer thing. Yeah, I mean, down the end, it looks like once it was nicely landscaped, some type of tree was put in there. But those upright yews that go through there they're like hanging over the sides. And my thought is just cut them off flush, mulch in there.
Did it go around the sewer? You mean around the big sewer?
Not
In
there's a
there?
nice shrub down the end of it,
Yeah?
but the path leading to it the little shrubs, they just block out the view for,
You're
We
talking
cut
about-
those down, how many years ago with Main Street Program? We literally cut them down.
To the ground.
To the ground, almost. And that's, I want to say, when was Main Street disbanded? Maybe
5 years.
6 years ago, maybe?
Yeah.
So probably
Because
6
it was
years ago,
during
we
my
did
time.
that. And it was so overgrown, you couldn't see where the big sewer cement building is. But
Thing done, yeah.
we cut it all the way down
Franklin's.
to nothing, and now it's way up again.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So this is all,
Be
Like,
cut down.
I think just,
all the stuff in the middle between the two?
yeah, the
Between the two parking
two
lots.
lots, it deters crime or any type of other thing that can go in the shadows.
Do you
But yeah,
think
not
there
the
should-
trees, but just the
The shrub.
views, the shrubs, just level them,
Yeah, I'd like to do that. That was one of the things, one of the
mulch
first things.
over it, when mulch time comes.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe we
So-
can prune them properly as they come up.
You want them gone completely.
Yeah, because with
So there really should be a process of ripping them out.
And then what would you do? Just mulch it in there?
I don't know if they
Have a
grow back,
checker.
in such a way that, you could control them, or it'd be easier just pull them all out, but at least remove them. Was that railroad ties?
I believe so.
I don't know how big the roots are for those things. They could be connected to the railroad ties. So it could be a nightmare digging them out, but
I can investigate
take
it.
'em out.
I do want to do something with them, whether it be prune them down, cut them up, and make them
You can
look
cut them all
decent.
down and you drill holes down in through the center of their root and fill it with vinegar. But they'll decompose in place, I mean.
What I'll do is
mulch over the top.
I'll try to investigate that one further if you guys want, and see if
I
can
won't
come
miss
back
'em.
with a better recommendation on what to do. Whether it be recommended pruning, or recommend try to rip them out, or kill them, or something.
My thoughts are with pruning them is
Just prune them off level and flat, and
no
They'll
more,
come back.
They'll come
Yeah.
back, because we
Yeah.
did it just about 6 years
They're
ago.
like weeds.
well, at least they'll look better
Right.
until they do. And
We could do that and then make a decision whether or not to take them out again.
Well, if you prune them back, then you can get into a yearly maintenance of trimming them.
Right.
when they start to grow, yeah.
Right.
that's what I was thinking. Prune them to make them look nice, and try to get them to grow uniformly, or try. I don't mean that will.
Some of they get pretty big, so when you prune them back, they look really ugly.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you cut them just right off and train the fresh from the stump,
Okay.
but it's better to not have too much there, just because of crime and lighting, and
You like West Pocket Park?
transplant them to West Broad.
West Pocket Forest.
Anyway,
Right.
yeah, that's my
So-
thought. And
Anything else?
I have stuff,
Public or non-public?
public.
Okay.
Where to begin? Municipal parking lot. So we basically have the entire parking lot from the length of Center Street. Currently, we're in violation of our own litter ordinance, and that the litter in the parking lot is being blown onto abutters' properties. So we need to get after that. We need to pick up that garbage in and around those parking lots. And we should get it from those properties that abut it. And we should have a routine where we're doing that.
In the municipal parking on either side, you have right up here.
On the municipal parking from School Street to the big spruce tree, if you look at the, well, we own the property where the spruce tree is, but if you look at the bollards and all along the railroad tracks, we have garbage that's blown into that right-of-way. We have garbage that's blown into what used to be the Providian parking lot. We have garbage that's blown into the buildings along here.
Well, I have a date.
We have buildings all along.
I don't have a date yet, but usually within the shrubs that are out where we park, where the guardrail is, in the municipal area, and then across that into where the handicap side of it is, all in through that brush that's there, is all picked up by Tilton School, usually in the spring, when they do the house that's next, abuts it on either side.
Do they pick up our garbage that's blown into the abutters' yards?
They do.
Well, we shouldn't have garbage blowing into abutters' yards, but that's great.
What about those community service guys? That sounds like a perfect project.
Well, we do, I mean, it's great for community service
When we have them.
when we have them. We don't have any right now.
But in the meantime, when we don't have them, should we
schools
have
could-
garbage blowing
And the
on
ones that
abutters'
we
property?
have,
Aren't there,
the next-
isn't there a whole bunch of them looking for
they
something to
have
do?
so many hours to do, and right now we're utilizing them up on March 31st.
All their hours?
That's one of the problems with trash, is when,
Pick it up.
if one person throws their trash out, everybody else thinks, the Alice's Restaurant thing, you know? It's easier to throw mine down there than
Well, if you look
the
at
others, so- but
the
it's-
weekly worksheets that I
you
sent
guys been
you,
working.
you'll see that last week we spent 3 days picking up, so we've already started that process. In springtime, things get thrown out all winter long, and the springtime is the worst time of year for that.
They show up.
The snowbanks are gone, things start
Because
showing up.
nobody's policing it all winter long.
Well, we try, but they get,
Right. But
You know, it
this
gets-
is a year-round problem.
right.
More prevalent this time when the snow's gone.
But it does
snow
show up
catches
more
it.
now. But we started picking up, the guys have brought me a whole list of the streets they've already gone through. We have more to go, but we came off of doing it to get ahead of the street sweeper, which we're gonna go back onto. But we've already spent 3 days just cleaning trash, and we are actually already on that. So,
This isn't a one-time year thing.
no, it's not a one-time year thing.
So what's the plan going forward? What does the board think should happen?
I think it should happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is something that every town and state agency does. It's
Around the municipal parking areas, we have, 5 municipal parking areas, including Mechanic Street? They should all be done.
Yeah.
Regular schedule.
yeah, even,
What do you think?
that's a normal day-to-day business. We do that all the time, or we should be. So, that's part of the plans to do.
Okay,
Okay, next. So I have something that needs to be straightened out. So going forward, we are on the same page. What I'm handing out is a list that Dennis actually created.
I thought I'd seen this.
He wanted to really more define the public works responsibilities as it pertains, I don't know if you brought yours or not, pertains to maintenance, specifically at Riverfront Park, fill in the building. This is not an all-inclusive list. It kind of, he wrote it because these were kind of the who does these things list. So, the Park Commissioners met on the second Monday and discussed the Easter egg event that's going to take place on the 2nd of April. The next Tuesday, I contacted Public Works Director to let him know that the event was coming up and that we needed to get the park ready, for the event. We have garbage all through the park, we need the trash cans out, and the water turned on. I had contacted, after that conversation, the cleaner, to let him know, in fact, that the water should be on, and they could probably go in the middle of what will be next week. I went to the park today. Trash cans are out, but the park is absolutely full of garbage. Water is not turned on, nothing's been cleaned, and called up and talked to the Public Works Director, and it appeared that he was not sure what the Board of Selectmen had authorized them to do, that request may have been off of the normal. So I want to make sure that the Board of Selectmen are on board with having Public Works get the park ready for the public event.
Absolutely. This has been, Public Works Director has had the responsibility of the maintenance, building maintenance of the park since we've had it for quite some time. Since its inception, actually, since the building of it.
2005.
Right.
Well, this also includes
Why would
picking
you
up,
question that?
picking up the trash on the grounds. We don't hire, the landscaper doesn't pick it up. And again, I go over there when I could in these past years with my minions, and we would pick it up.
Don't we hire a guy that works in the park during the summer?
In the summertime, but he's not specifically a trash picker-upper. He will pick up trash around the pavilion. He does more of the other landscaping issues that we have, invasive species and et cetera, that we don't pay the landscaper to do because it costs us less money to have an hourly person do it than to pay a landscaper to do it on a regular basis. So that's what I need to have the board's help on, is that this garbage that accumulates in the park, again, it's all season that we're open, it's got to be picked up. And, I mean, Public Works should be picking up the public park, municipal park.
All right.
Hire somebody, the park commissioners could hire somebody
I
to
think that that's a
specifically pick up
reasonable
garbage.
request. Joe?
I thought that the guy that we had hired to work in the park, that was part of the gig. I didn't realize he was a landscaper.
Well, he is a licensed
Fertilizer.
fertilizer herbicide.
I know he is, but I thought that
He
He
takes
can-
garbage and that
so
stuff was part of his thing.
Public Works
that's all.
can't put out pesticides, none of us can put out pesticides to take care of the ant problem.
True enough.
But the fellow we hire, Paul Rush, though, can because he's licensed.
True.
And we don't pay him a company fee, even though he is Squires. He does it by his hourly rate. So he does a lot of things, but he, like I said, and if there's garbage around the pavilion, he'll pick it up because that's just the kind of guy he is. But he's not specifically hired to go around the park and pick up all the garbage on a daily basis.
Do we have a job description for that position?
I believe he works like every other day, isn't it?
24 hours.
He has a,
We have a job description
Yeah.
for him.
I think so.
And he does walk, I've seen him walking down the path, the stone dust
Yeah.
path some, so, with a bucket and the tongs, so he does do some litter pickup.
Yep.
On the
But
drive, George?
He's not on the job right now.
Yeah.
He doesn't come on board until end of April?
Yeah, end of April, early May, I think.
Right.
Well, Catherine did call me, and she told me about all these and turn the water on, which I was thinking, when she said turn the water on, I was thinking we'd shut the water off to the building, by turning the valve off. But, so I checked into that, and I should have called you back earlier. That was my fault. But I found out that the water department they take the meter out.
What happens is every year, every spring, I contact the Public Works Director and they make arrangements to turn the water on.
'Cause
A
I
phone
thought
call is made by the Public Works Director to the Water Department, who coordinates with typically Arthur, because he's been doing it all these years. John meets with Arthur at the park, usually around 9 o'clock in the morning, and there's a process they go through. They turn the water on. The Water District representative has to make sure that the chlorine is reaching all of the points, the hydrants, the bathrooms, all the sources of water that we have. Tests are done. And our man Arthur makes sure that everything is functioning. John has to install the meter inside the building. So there's a coordination that takes place via the Public Works Director. And that's done every spring, and in the fall, the opposite is done. They again meet, the meter is removed, I assume flushing is done,
Yeah.
pipes are blown out, and things are shut off. But that's the process.
Because the word I got back was that wasn't gonna happen until April 15th.
I talked to the Water District after I talked to you. He is poised and ready to turn the water on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, whatever can be coordinated.
Oh, that's cool.
With Arthur at
Yep.
Public Works.
Yep, we can do that. That's
So
cool.
I just wanted to bring it to the board. Again, there seemed to be some confusion, so I felt that
Well,
we should get a
and-
consensus of the Board of Selectmen to make this happen, even though
Okay.
it's done on a routine basis.
It changes, it's not a set time of April 15th.
Nope.
It changes depending on when Easter is too, because they always have this Easter egg hunt. They have to have the bathrooms open
All right,
during
yeah.
this time.
Yeah, that's no problem.
So, yes, I'm in favor of doing that.
And the
I
other,
gotta turn,
yeah, I'll do that, that's no problem. And the other part was, I did send people down to pick up the trash and put the trash cans out, so I looked into it after I got off the phone with you, find out what was going on. And the employee that I asked said that he put up the trash cans up in the pavilion and cleaned up the area up there, and the foreman and the other employee went down to the bottom part to put out the 3 trash cans down there, and they didn't pick up the trash down there.
Trash
Not-
around the pavilion wasn't picked up either.
Did you ask why not?
I haven't had the chance to go that far into it yet, because Catherine called me toward the end of the day. here.
2:30.
2:30. So, there were 3 people sent to
Were
put the
the
trash cans.
instructions to
Put
put,
the trash cans out and clean up the trash around the area. And as far as, I didn't know if we did anything else as far as like not snow blowing, sweeping or blowing down the area, cleaning up any sand or.
did you have this before Catherine sent
You
it? When
guys
did
gave
you get
me
this?
He had
a
that
list
last fall.
earlier, last fall, so I couldn't find that, but
I reviewed it with him and Arthur.
yeah.
So it, pressure wash all the picnic tables.
So-
This all should be starting now. This, with the weather that we've had, some of this work could have been done already.
Yeah, we've been on spring cleaning already. I mean, we've had snow events and everything else too.
Last week, you said you were looking for work for them to do, and they were sweeping the garage. Some of this work could have been done out
From day to
here.
day, we have been, did you look at my weekly worksheet?
Yeah, I did look at your work, but let's not get into that right now.
One of the other things is, last fall I discussed with you about flipping the tops of those picnic tables.
Flipping the tops of the picnic table.
The picnic tables under the pavilions, the ends are designed for handicap use. What has happened is, people have
Oh,
sat on those ends, so now they're turned down. I talked to the manufacturer of those tables
And you
last
flip it,
summer.
right.
And they said that they were designed to simply flip the boards over, and the bolt holes should match up exactly. You just simply unbolt them, flip them, and then
for the year.
Providing
they'll be curled up.
it's centered.
They are-
But before that's
Is it centered,
done,
if it's not centered in
and
the
as it
board
says
when
on
you flip
here,
them,
those
then...
have to be pressure washed.
They're made
From
4
one side
times
to
a
the
year
other.
during summer months.
No, I mean,
so
if they're
that-
off-centered on the
No,
board, when you
should've been
flip
done
it,
at
you
the
gotta
end of
slide
last
them
year.
around to find the hole.
Truck.
We just got that pressure washer, right?
This.
Yeah.
And the manufacturer, because we've
Right, I
had
was
some
told
of
last
those
year
down
that
there.
the one that the park commission
Just
just bought,
flip
that the
them like
Public Works
that, and
Department was
they're,
broken.
exactly.
Yeah, so,
So, at any rate, regardless, there's a lot of things on here that need to get done. This list needs to get started, because I don't think anything on this list has been done.
No, but
So we have people coming on April
you can't
2nd.
urethane rafters and paint handrails and do all
But
that in this
what
time of
about
year.
check benches for
no,
for tightness and, or ankle bolts? I mean, we have people coming next week. They're gonna be sitting down, making sure that things are anchored and tight when they sit down?
Gotta be safe.
Right. I mean, a lot can happen in the winter.
Was
We
Public
also-
Works notified that there was an event in the park?
Yes.
yeah, we
Yeah.
knew that there was an event at the park, but I also was under the impression that the Parks Commission took care of Riverfront Park.
I specifically,
again.
when I talked to you on that Tuesday, I specifically went through a litany
I
of
didn't,
things that need to take place, and last fall, I sat with you and Arthur with this list of items that the Public Works Department
Right.
takes care of.
You do not take care of the lawn maintenance.
That's right. And the
That's about it,
the
really.
weeding and the trimming.
The weeding and the trimming. You don't
Foliage.
take care of that. And You take care of the benches, the paint, the rafters, all of the urethane that goes
Washouts.
along that, the washing, the pressure wash the building, the whole bit, the benches.
Weather permitting, I'll get all this done next week.
One of the problems that we have down there is, there was a candlelight vigil.
Yeah,
They had asked to have the candlelight vigil in Riverfront Park, and they were told no, specifically for the reason that has occurred.
we'll take the
It was
pressure
supposed to
washer.
have taken place on the island.
That's correct.
They had a parking issue.
Right, so what's happened is now the pavilion area, the bricks, is covered with wax.
Yeah, we got our pressure washer, we'll take that
Covered
down
with
there
wax.
and clean that right up.
That would be great.
But we're gonna, if the building needs it too, while we have the pressure washer there, we'll, check on trying to, clean the building with it as well.
While we're on the Riverfront Park, according to the plethora of timesheets, work-related information that you gave us, according to the documents, it said 3.5 days working to put up a sign that the posts were already there. Could you please tell me why it took 3.5 days to put a sign up that was made? They didn't make the sign. I asked that question.
Didn't make the sign.
They didn't make the sign. The posts were there. Why did it take 3.5 days for them to put the sign up?
I wish I could give you a good answer.
I need a good answer.
I delegated that job to my foreman, and to be honest with you, it's, the only thing I can say in his defense is it's a little bit complicated compared to what we usually do for signage, but beyond that, it wasn't hard to figure out, and I could have if I put the sign together myself, I could have had it done in a day. It took,
So as a Public Works Director,
I,
knowing that this employee is taking 3.5 days to complete a job that you just said that you could probably do in a day, why wasn't there some assistance to shorten that 3.5-day period down?
there was assistance.
But it still took 3.5 days.
I did everything but go out and hold his hand.
Well, as a manager, all right,
I mean, the only option I had left was to take the job away and do it myself, or give it to somebody else. If I have a foreman, I expect him to be able to do the job. I expect him to be my eyes on the road, I expect him to be doing the job.
I don't expect, as a selectman, that you have a job that the Public Works Director says that they could do in a day, take 3.5 days worth of work. That's really unfair to our taxpayers, that that's happening. And that falls on whomever is in charge. Unfortunately, it does fall on that. So, that needs to be
I
done.
mean, I gave all the guidance I could, all the suggestions I could. Other than taking the job away and doing it myself.
I have a question.
Well, why not? If it was a shorter period of time and it was the taxpayers' money, why not? Go ahead, Joe.
Why didn't you go down and do it yourself? If it was only going to take a day, after the first day, why didn't you go down and find out what the problem was?
Well, for the first day, I wasn't there.
But you knew they hadn't completed it, and there were at least 2 guys on the job, right? You guys didn't finish that yesterday? Well, let me go down and find out what the problem is. Because it is about, now we've got 2.5 extra days of labor on that one sign. What sign was it?
It's the one that they got from...
Message board.
The message board they
event
got from
sign.
the prison, that the prison made, and they have 4x4 posts that were put in.
The riverfront park.
It's, if you go along, it's right along the
Could have done
granite.
that by myself in a day. Now, why why did it take 3.5 days? Do you know why it took
By the
3.5
video
days?
camera, right?
The longest part was really trying to get
I'd like to see
somebody that could figure out how to make the brackets to hold the sign up.
All right, I'm gonna, let's go one step further here. I'm gonna request that the finance director find the video for that 3.5 days and find out what the heck went on. I want to know.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I think that that's what, really, that's something that's on you. Because if I were the director and a day went by, maybe a day and a half,
I didn't even
and they
see
come back, it's still not done, second day, man, I'd be down there to find out why, how, when, where. I want this job done. I want it completed, period. I'm not going to wait and say, oh, you know what, we got this to do, we got that to do, and no, 3.5 days.
Okay.
That's their employees, they're employees of the town. The taxpayers pay their, good night, taxpayers pay their wages. It's unfair.
Okay.
All right, do we have any other, you have anything else? You said you had some?
No, no, I think that, just to remind you that the railings, going down to the lower levels and all the bike racks need painting. They're all peeled. And they're galvanized. Make sure Arthur knows they're galvanized. They're going to continue to be,
Every
Might be
spring.
a...
we're gonna have a problem. I don't know why they even painted galvanized. I think I would've left them or not
You think it
have
might be
galvanized.
better to try to just take the paint off?
Didn't we pay somebody last year, a special contractor, to alleviate that problem so that they
3
wouldn't be
years ago?
chipping?
It was a few years, it wasn't last year.
I
Yeah.
remember
Last
we,
year.
and he was supposed to blast them and
They-
do all that.
Yeah, they did
Yeah.
blast
He
them.
went through a process,
different-
but he also said that because it's galvanized and
Right.
it'd be a problem. They're better than they were, but
See, yeah, he should be using that zinc chromate primer.
he used a special primer.
My turn?
Jump in.
Go ahead.
Excellent. This conversation, I'm reading the park person's job description. The park person that we've hired, I don't know what he does of this, but what he does apparently isn't even included in the job description. This guy pressure cleans the building. He scrapes and does railings, pulls weeds in between the bricks and whatever. That's what the job description says, and I signed it, so I was
What's the-
thinking,
But
What
it's
does it say?
changed, it's, the.
Read it.
It's changed because the park commissioners discovered that the steam cleaner they bought didn't work. It was broken. So hence, the town didn't have a steam cleaner for him to use to pressure wash, or a pressure washer to use.
Well-
That job description actually has changed a bit,
considerably.
but I'm not,
It's just supposed to pick up the garbage in the park, according to that. Now, if it's changed, we need a new one, that's all.
well, this is, and I think that dates back to when that
2012.
person was...
2012, yeah.
I think that dates back to the person that Public Works hired,
Right.
not to the person that the park commissioners have in there now.
Well, all I'm saying, and I can understand that,
That's
all I'm
a-
saying is if we've changed it somehow, then this should reflect that, that's all.
No, it's
Well, this
because,
one says works directly under the supervision of the Tilton Parks Commission.
yeah, and he did.
So this wouldn't be under the highway, because it would be,
That was when he was working for the parks. So when he was in Riverfront Park, he worked for us. When he was at the highway, he worked for Dennis. That's the way Dennis wanted it.
okay. In any event, he doesn't come on board until April, end of April?
Something like that. I'd have to look.
All right.
But it has changed, and you know what? I'll make a note. The park commissioners can update it.
The job description.
Right.
All right. Any more for Johnny?
No, just hopefully that's the last storm. Did you have to plow it?
Yeah, we actually did drop our plows on it.
And they salted.
Oh, yeah, they salted.
Follow the white road?
I forgot, I got a few phone calls on that.
On the sidewalks.
Why are we sidewalk plowing and dropping salt on the Main Street sidewalks at noon time when it was melted? That was the question. 3 phone calls on that.
Well, it was put down too thick. That's all it was. And he could have adjusted it.
It wasn't plowing much, though.
On snow that was gone by 2. And my understanding, it went around about, what, 10 o'clock?
My work, yeah, he was out late because the individual that
And the
runs
snow
it.
was half gone?
Yeah, the individual that runs it was out for a doctor's appointment that day. But, I had him to salt it. I wasn't expecting that much salt. But, the reason for it was I wasn't sure that the sun was gonna come out and dry up. I was afraid of a refreeze later.
But the weather
But there was
forecast,
still snow on it.
weather forecast was pretty exact.
What's that?
The weather forecast was pretty exact.
I know, I was being cautious. Would you rather me not be cautious and have somebody fall?
I'd rather you listen to the weather forecast.
Well, I would rather err on the side of caution, but that was a lot of salt for no matter what the conditions were, John.
So,
That was a lot of salt, but
that was a lot of salt.
A lot of salt. All right. I will,
Hopefully you don't get any more snow this year. It should be done.
tonight is supposed to be freezing rain, maybe some snow.
It's not supposed to go back down below freezing, though.
Well, that's what I
Might be all
saw, that's what I saw during the day
I'm
today.
hoping. I got my fingers crossed.
You know,
Okay, well,
normally the ski areas would still be open in the Highlands. I can remember Easter egg hunts on the mountain skiing, so we have an early
Know
spring.
where they can get some eggs.
all right. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to go into non-public for RSA 91A:3 personnel. Second, by Joe. Roll call vote?
Yes?
Yes. I did. I'll make a motion to seal the minutes as it pertains to personnel permanently, as it pertains to the contract, until the matters are resolved.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I have something before I forget. On the to be paid, why are we paying for mileage reimbursement when this, was the car not
The
available?
linkage went,
No, it went at Northfield, here in
So
town.
was the car, I thought they were,
Who's getting,
Cindy,
Cindy is,
I know she refuses to use the car, which is even why I'm asking, but was the car available?
what day did she use it? Not, what day did she not use it?
This is dated 3/17.
3/17 would have been last,
Thursday.
I don't know, I was.
That was the day.
last Thursday
that
was the day that it was not available because that was
Okay.
the school.
That's my question.
Right,
All right, so it wasn't available to her.
right.
Can you swear me in tonight?
The other,
Oh,
TCC.
we have also
like, why am I
the
swearing you in?
issue of, what we didn't do last week was the vice chair. I will entertain a motion for Catherine Dawson to continue as vice chair.
I'll nominate Catherine Dawson as,
Okay, you do it, I'll second it.
Don't miss any meetings.
Is there a discussion on that? All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Aye.
And Catherine will
I
abstain.
decline to vote.
There,
I'm sorry, on which motion was this? I was doing the.
vice chair.
Vice Chair, okay.
John made the motion, I seconded it. I started to make it, and then John made the same one, so. We have the issue of the Casella, that Tim's report, all the information that he brought out on solid waste. Been an enormous amount of work here. We can't leave everything to next week. We could space it out. I really do feel that this is going to take a lot of time to divvy up and figure it out, the options that we have.
I think we're looking at a one-year agreement with Casella.
Well,
Or a
You-
real interesting clause that gets us out of it.
right. Do you want to leave this until next week when Joe's here? Because
I think Joe's a very
he's pretty
important part of
invested,
this.
right, he's pretty invested in that. Unless you wanted to do it on another special night that we all can meet, and then just talk about Casella only.
I would do it next week, and I would ask Tim about a contract for 1 year. And then we may have to meet.
Okay, the price may change, though. 'Cause it-
Interesting
Okay, got it.
parachute.
I remember the 3 years ago, the price was different if it was a 1 year, okay. All right, we were supposed to talk about Andrew and Crystal Road. We can wait until next week. Land use office renovation has been put off to next, well, indefinitely, but the summer help job is put off till next week. We can put Andrews and Crystal Road off to next week. And the garbage truck is included in Tim's report, which we're going to talk about next week, which would be put on the agenda for next week. The chief has asked for a non-public next week as well. All right,
I'll have that one on the health insurance next week.
so we'll have two non-publics next week. That's kind of a long kind of a discussion. All right. I did contact today, just for an FYI, a company that does reclaim wood, and for a donation, I asked him if he was interested in the flooring, the old flooring at the senior center. So I haven't got an email back. I sent pictures. So, I mean, for a donation, it's better than what we hadn't had before.
You know, it's
good wood.
It's good wood, somebody could use for heating or burning or whatever, but the problem is, most finish is burnt off.
Yeah, well, it would take a very simple plane, a 32nd of an inch.
What is it,
off of it.
maple or?
It's rock maple.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard,
So that's a lot of
hard
rock maple.
I could use the siding on the inside of a chicken coop.
How wide is it?
You want some? It's going to the bird, if he doesn't do it, seriously,
know.
do you want something?
Let me know.
What width is
If it
it?
doesn't
Is it the
work out,
wide
blame
stuff
for you
or
if
is
you
it
want.
No, the chicken
Wide?
won't care.
wide? Is it 2.5 or?
Some are 2.5, some are 3.5.
So this is 3.5-inch maple, rock maple. That actually, you could make some great styles for cabinets and stuff
Yep.
like that out of.
Yep,
Good steal for somebody if they want to refinish it.
right.
Make some,
I need some siding for my pig house.
That would be, if you want to, do you have
it's
a
a
big
little too
trailer?
fancy, isn't it? You gotta
Okay,
spoil it.
so if this person does not get back to me, and you just park your trailer out front, we'll have the kids
Okay,
put it on the trailer.
okay. Doesn't have sides, but it's a big trailer.
You could strap it down.
Yeah, that's what I mean, they'll just have to. Okay.
Just,
No problemo.
I'd like to see that rather than go into the burnable.
Okay.
I mean, we pay to get rid of it. It's gonna be about $200 to
I
get rid
sent
of it.
some calculations email.
All right. Is there any more business? Do you have anything to bring up?
Interesting.
Catherine, you must have something to...
I have something, they're kind of quick things, like an FYI tonight, we'll think about them till next week if you want. One of the things, the re-ups, the boards and committees,
Yep.
applications, they were kind of done a little backwards because they came to the planning board and the selectmen hadn't approved the appointment,
Ah,
and then they were sworn in,
oh, okay,
so
Who swore them in?
I did.
because they were available.
Dari asked me to. He said that's, I said, well, Dari, that's not normally the way it goes. And but if I didn't swear him in, they couldn't do anything with the meeting. And we wouldn't have had a quorum. We couldn't have gone forward. You see what I'm saying? So we're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. So my suggestion is that before town meeting, where we have these appointed boards, they can go out. They don't have to wait until after town meeting, because these people are appointed.
And if they decide not to re-up,
Exactly.
then we can...
That's right.
It's all it is a piece of paper,
Right.
and we can just not do
So
it.
if we did this, before town meeting, they could actually have time to fill them out. Yes, I want to be reappointed. It could come to the Board of Selectmen. We could say yay or nay. Then they can get sworn in by their ex officio members. It was, I had some real problems swearing them in, but understood why. The other thing that came out of the planning board meeting is one of our members has resigned. And it was suggested by by Dari that a conservation member was an ex officio member to the planning board. So one of the slots in the conservation becomes ex officio to the planning board. Did I explain that well?
But the town meeting vote designated who the members were.
Conservation Commission members aren't elected.
No, I know, but when the Conservation Commission was created, doesn't it say who the members are?
Yes, but this is the planning board.
I thought you said Conservation.
No,
To
they
make
want...
one of the positions.
Oh, yes, yes.
One of the positions, an ex officio member to the planning board, so that wouldn't be an appointed position, it would be, because they're a Conservation Commission member, they would automatically be
What did
on
the planning board think about it?
They loved it.
Who left?
Elaine. Yeah, she was a sweetie. So, and of course, the Conservation Commission just met Monday, so
Yeah.
they haven't had time to be made aware of it. This came Tuesday.
I think that probably would be,
It would be
help
such a
with the-
fit.
But I thought the planning board automatically has a selectman as an ex officio.
There can be more than one ex officio position. There can't be two selectmen ex
As
officio
ex
members.
officios, right.
But you can create another ex officio member from another board.
And Dari said you can do that for the planning board?
That's his idea. Ex officio simply means that because you're a member of another board,
Yeah.
you are a member of this board. It's not an appointed or elected position, it's automatic.
I would be in favor of that. Can we look into it further and make sure that that's what we can do? And
And then the conservation would do the same thing that we do,
Uh-huh.
is appoint their ex officio member to the planning board.
A Conservation Commission member. Now,
yes.
this is in addition to their regular members, and you'd be,
No, one
No.
member,
We have a
one member left.
vacancy.
you have a vacancy.
We're not increasing the number of planning board members. So,
trying to get somebody to cross over.
trying to get a crossover, but we
So to
just,
appoint
Well-
that person, you would do that, right?
and the Conservation Commission, actually, we would be subrogating our authority to appoint that position to the Conservation Commission. That's what we'd be doing.
Can I join as a member?
There cannot be There really can't be. I mean, what we do with John on the
In your spare
Conservation
time.
Commission, I'm not so sure
your
if
spare time.
that's, because it's a advisory
Non-advisory.
board,
None,
it's,
There's no ex officio to that one,
right, but he's a selectman.
but
right.
because there's an ex officio.
Because it's an advisory board, it's kind of okay. But you can't have two selectmen as ex officios members on a board. Can't do it. Law says.
good.
Law says. But you think about that, the board of selectmen could kind of stack the deck in a couple places. So anyway, moving on.
I'll think if we could. Maybe Jim would want to do it.
Paid time off sheets. We get them, it's usually after the fact.
We shouldn't be, unless there's a sickness.
Well, yeah, and,
Yeah, you should be getting them after the fact. 'cause
a
then
lot of
they-
times we get them after the fact. The day's already,
Yeah, but that would be part of payroll.
okay, but my point is, I don't care about getting them after the fact. I don't think the selectmen should be signing them. I mean, we rely on a town administrator to coordinate the staff, to make sure that town hall isn't empty, that, all of this. So I think that the town administrator should be signing these paid time off sheets. It's far more important. I mean,
Well,
put them in
Wait a minute.
put them in the FYI file for the selectmen to say, oh, okay. Or better yet, give us a calendar that
Who's off, who's
shows the week.
You
And,
do get a calendar.
We do get that one in the green one, the FYI file.
okay, so then we're covered.
Wait a minute. I'll-
Because my other issue is that the Public Works Director signed his own,
Right.
which, I mean, I think that the town administrator should be signing them. The police department, that's another animal, but I think that the town administrator should be coordinating those things and not the selectmen.
Who signs the town administrators?
We will.
Oh, okay, just checking.
Now, am I hearing you right, that we're actually going to,
I know what she's gonna say.
I know what she's going to say.
we're actually going to treat the town administrator as a town administrator?
You're damn tootin'.
Yes!
I think it's great.
Go forth and administrate. I am 150% behind that.
I always get worried that I could be signing somebody's sheet that actually gives them authorization to abandon, like, I just signed 5 sheets and I didn't realize I just abandoned the whole town hall.
Exactly, thank you, exactly. That's what I mean.
I have faith in the
Every
employees that they
time I
wouldn't do
sign
that.
one, I'm
but
like, I have
could
no
say-
idea.
I could
Why
see
did I just
showing
sign
up,
it?
to register my car,
Yeah, and
and then
nobody's
over
here.
here, it's like, well, you signed for everybody to be off that day.
There you
Right.
go. I just think it's, yeah.
You know,
that's
to
it.
come through at
All right.
different times. Yeah.
I'm
I
done.
think that's great.
All right, that's it. I have one thing. Contract negotiations are coming up. In 2017, the contract for the police are changing. We usually negotiate in the fall. I would like to ask Joyce or give her permission to send out some RFPs to start looking at lawyers to actually do the contract, to help us do the contract negotiations with this year's police contract for the next 3 years. So I think we should start it now, the RFP, and then we can pick a lawyer. That lawyer will probably start somewhere in September-ish.
Didn't we pick a lawyer already for doing this? Or we suggested one about a month
3
or
years
two ago?
We
A
have,
month or two ago, you brought somebody up.
yeah,
Maybe it was just a...
Well, we have somebody
Passing it
that
around.
works on these issues.
we have had the same lawyer for the last 2 contracts. It's probably non-public information, but
It's always good to
I would like,
investigate
right, I'd like to
new
change.
possibilities.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've been through the last 2 contracts, and I think we need a change. So, on the other note, is everybody okay with doing that? Okay, Joyce, yes, that's a yes. On the other note, everyone has the CBA online, on the drive. And within the next, few months, take a look at it and see if there's something, or if you can jot down where you think that we've had snags in the last year, so that we can go into contract negotiations and try to correct those circumstances, then let me know. All right?
The question is, do they still want to remain on a contract and not become just town employees?
Well, that's a good question. I will ask that.
Yeah. I think that should go out. I knew what I was going to say.
I think that's a strikeable.
But, a lot of times we've found that employees actually are better off than the union employees, and they may decide that they don't want to be part of the union.
Right.
Just should offer that.
Well, the other option is just to say status quo on this one for the next 3 years.
I'm serious.
And then we save us $15,000 negotiating.
Right, but don't they have to come to us? It's their responsibility to come to us to say, we're ready to go to you. As a courtesy.
By law, yeah, they do have to come to us and say, we're ready to negotiate. They send a letter out. I don't know if it's our lawyer or their lawyer, but their
I
rep.
don't think it's a lawyer, they just come
Their
to
rep,
their
right. But let's think about it. It's something, it's time.
Okay to send out RFPs.
RFPs, yep.
Doesn't seem like it actually went out. Did you get that email? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Did, on ACs.
Yeah, and you can actually go through, and now that's per day, that's running 12 hours a day for 30 days, based on a 12,000 BTU air conditioner. I believe the ones that you guys are using are like 3,000.
10,000,
Okay, so 10,000, so you can change the math.
yep.
They're also,
And they're not running
But they're
12 hours a
energy
day for
efficient.
30 days. And you can also look at how many watts that those are drawing. And then change the calculation for the kilowatt hour. But you can see, this is actually a much stronger AC unit for a 550 square foot,
But it's 143 a month.
and that's only $143 a month.
but the units that we install are much more efficient than
Exactly. So,
what he's comparing.
and that's running
So they're
12
charging
hours
them
a day
30 days,
for 30 days.
$30 a month. They're charging them, the residents, $30 a month extra to have an air conditioner.
That's probably about right.
Okay.
Probably what it should be, not $150 to $200 would be absolutely impossible. So
right.
I think to,
Any more? Anything else, John? You?
no, just
Okay.
happy Easter to everybody.
Yes, in paragraph 2, when you start reading on how planning board members are appointed, it starts with how the cities do it, how town councils do it, you keep going down here, paragraph 2. In other towns, the planning board shall consist of 5 or 7 members as determined by the local legislative body. The membership shall be filled by one of the following procedures. The selectmen shall designate one selectman or administrative official of the town as an ex officio member and appoint 4 or 6 other persons who are residents of the town as appropriate. So the selectmen have to designate an ex officio for the selectmen, and you can appoint other members as appropriate, but it doesn't say ex officio.
We don't have to
Doesn't say you can't.
We don't have to say ex officio. We can say a member.
Appoint one
We can
Yeah.
just,
as appropriately.
Ex officio simply means because they're from the Conservation Commission.
Right.
So the Board of Selectmen could say, well, we'd like a member.
of the
Could be-
Conservation
and it's still
Commission.
it still means the same thing.
Yes, it
It's
does.
just the language, it's semantics.
Right, well, that's what confused me, because I knew that the law was very clear about
Yeah, it's just,
committees have
selectmen ex officios or.
So I was-
Use the word ex.
Well, I'm not saying to make it a selectman ex officio. Make it a conservation commission member ex officio. I was saying, as I said, to subrogate our authority for one member to the conservation commission,
Yep.
which we subrogate our authority often. Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I get the day off tomorrow.
One term. And they're 3-year terms.
It's really up to the conservation commission, I think. I think they're the ones that are really gonna decide that, and then,
Right, right, but I just,
if they want